Philosophy is useless. I don't understand it. And honestly, even philosophers spend their time contradicting each other. Does that sound familiar? Maybe you've heard it before, or maybe you've even said it yourself. But imagine for a moment. What if I told you that you practice philosophy every single day without even realizing it? Impossible, right? Don't believe me? Well, stay with me. And you'll see that everyone, yes, I insist, everyone has a philosophy. And those who stubbornly claim they don't have one are mistaken. Let's take some examples. Everyone has their own way of seeing the world, of distinguishing truth from falsehood, or good from evil. Now, imagine you hear about a war, or some tragic events, and someone in the room mentions human nature. But what exactly is this so-called human nature? Stop. You've just encountered a typically philosophical question. So, you're starting to understand. Philosophy isn't some obscure concept confined to old dusty books. It's much closer to you than you might think. Indeed, human beings are animals endowed with intelligence, a mind or reason. As such, they are distinct from other animals due to their specific ability to think and reason. And to philosophize is to ask these fundamental questions and attempt to answer them. But this is only the beginning of this realization. You'll soon come to understand that philosophy can completely change your life. For that, let's take a leap back in time. Let's return to ancient Greece. Plato, a student of Socrates and the teacher of Aristotle, offers us a powerful image in his book The Republic. This is the allegory of the cave. Of course, for those of you who are more rigorous, this is just a brief summary, as this image could be discussed for hours. Now, visualize a dark cave. Inside, prisoners, chained at the back since childhood, have never known anything else. They sit with their backs to the entrance, staring only at a wall in front of them. This detail is crucial, because behind them lies the entrance to the cave, as well as a wall separating them from passersby carrying objects illuminated by the light outside. The shadows of these objects are projected onto the wall in front of the prisoners, becoming the only reality they know. Knowing nothing of the outside world, the sunlight, or real objects, they live in the most complete illusion. One day, however, one of the prisoners is freed and led out of the cave. Dazzled by the sunlight, he struggles to believe what he sees. Gradually, he comes to understand that everything he has perceived since birth was nothing but a deception. Driven by this newfound knowledge, he returns to the cave to enlighten his companions, but they refuse to believe him and reject his revelations. This image is highly symbolic. It establishes a connection between access to freedom and knowledge. It is by discovering the real world that a person becomes truly free. Indeed, does freedom not lie in this elevation of humanity toward truth? Freedom can only be real once an individual has access to some form of knowledge. Without it, freedom remains nothing more than an illusion. The one who has only ever known falsehood cannot access either the truth or the reality of themselves. Their reality is limited to what they have perceived since birth. Thus, it is only through the work of the philosopher, who has himself contemplated the sun, that the prisoner can come to understand that what they perceived in the cave was nothing but an illusion. Plato emphasizes here the paramount importance of education in accessing the truth. Ultimately, no one can attain knowledge by their own means. Education is the only path to lead human beings out of ignorance and guide them toward a higher truth, represented by the light of the sun. The allegory of the cave reveals an essential truth. Knowledge requires learning, which is often arduous. The prisoners, chained in the cave, despite their ability to converse with one another, cannot confront reality. They all share the same distorted vision, limited to the shadows projected in front of them. Their reality, shared but biased, can only be transcended when one prisoner, guided by a philosopher, leaves the cave. It is only at that moment that they become aware of what reality truly is. But to achieve this, one must be willing to learn, to doubt, and to seek. So, how do you start? Ayn Rand proposed a simple yet powerful method. The best way to study philosophy could be to approach it like a detective story. Follow every clue, lead an implication to discover who is a murderer and who is a hero. The criterion of the investigation lies in these two questions: why and how. If a given thesis seems right, why? If another thesis seems wrong, why? And how did I come to believe it? By doing this again and again, without ever stopping, you will realize over time that philosophy is not a useless luxury. It is a necessity. Not only because the knowledge it represents is true power, but also because it is a way to understand the world, to illuminate your path, to live in the pursuit of virtue, and to strive to come as close as possible to wisdom. Yes, wisdom, quite simply because in Greek, philosophy means love or wisdom. But we will return to this concept separately in the future as it is so important. So, if you want to go further, gain freedom, emerge from the shadows of the cave, and take part in the monstrously important task ahead of us, subscribe to this channel to join this adventure. Leave a comment, share your thoughts, and get ready for what's next. See you very soon for a new video.